I don't work for you, specifically, by use run officially ATC. Was talking to a friend earlier and was reminded of this story. A couple years back, I worked for a very large, resort-style place. It was where some very wealthy people had vacation homes. This place was huge, as it was basically its own town, and I happened to be in a small subsection of the largest department. Now, it's important to note that the uniforms my small team wore were completely different from the vast majority of people in this department because we were very specialized. We wore blue shirts and gray pants, most of the rest of the department wore green shirts with khaki pants. Actually, I'm fairly certain that we were the only team, other than the on-site EMTs, who had blue uniforms. It was a big place, lots of employees, so most everyone in public-facing jobs were essentially color-coded. Anyways, it was literally my second to last day on the job and I had to go to the main office for the department, because that's where we kept things that we didn't need all the time. Space was extremely limited in our office. I run inside, pick up the box that we need, and head back out to my vehicle. A lady who is wearing a green shirt walks up to me, and since I try to be a decent person, I smile and say hello. Lady, oh, perfect, I need help taking a whole bunch of crap over to the banquet hall. Me, very clearly holding a heavy box that is labeled for my team. I'm on a tight schedule, sorry, my team worked a very time-sensitive position, I'm talking down to the second sometimes. Lady, that can wait, I need help now. Me, I'm really sorry, but I need to get this too. Lady, I don't care, you need to help me. Me, completely out of fucks to give, not to be rude, but you aren't my supervisor, and my actual supervisor will tear me a new one if I don't get back to our office right now. Lady, I am going to tell head of department about this. Me, over my shoulder as I walk away, go ahead, he's in his office right now, I just said hi to him. Anyways, I headed over to my office and pretty much forgot about the interaction because we were slammed that day and it was non-stop until we closed. The next day was my last day on the job, so I wasn't surprised to see the head of the department show up when my shift was almost over. He was a really good guy, one of the best upper management types I have ever met, and really made an effort to get to know everyone in his department. My supervisor and I greeted him and we chatted while I finished cleaning up my station. Department head, suddenly very grave, OP, I got a very concerning report about you yesterday. Me and my supervisor. Department head, apparently you refused to give assistance to lady when she asked for it. Me, oh yeah. I was bringing supplies from storage back here and didn't have time. She was kinda rude. Department head, grinning widely at his own joke, well, in that case I'm afraid that I'll have to let you go if you don't apologize to her. Me, I'm terribly sorry it has to end this way, department head, but I must stick to my principles. He laughed, shook my hand, and told me I could always count on him for a good reference while my supervisor cackled in the background. It wasn't a perfect job, but it was one of the better ones and I'll always be a little sad that I had to move away. But at least it ended with a pretty good chuckle. Never heard grandma swear before this, by user CowJam16. Ever since grandpa died, my older brother and I took turns taking grandma to the grocery store every week to do her shopping. Grandma cannot drive due to medical reasons, so one of us would take her down and help her with her shopping. During the height of COVID, we would go to her house and help her shop online and come back the next day to help her carry the bags in from the front porch and put stuff away. Grandma is the sweetest person I know. I once said in front of her when she asked me about the game I went to the night before that Calgary sucks, and she went pale and I got a lecture on how young ladies don't say sucks. So one day, we were on our grocery trip when grandma had to use the restroom. She walked off and I stood by the cart waiting for her. Then a Karen came up to me and said, "Now that the old lady is gone, I need some help." I said, "Oh sorry, that's my grandma and she just had to step away for a moment, I think you can get help up front." Karen said, "I don't care, you need to help me now. I'm not going all the way up front when you're here right now." Me, I'm sorry, but I don't work here and I'm sure there's someone up front who can help you. Karen started to respond when grandma came back and said, "I'm done, let's go now." We started walking off, which Karen really didn't like and shouted, "Get back here and help me now." Grandma stopped and looked at Karen saying, "What's going on? This is my granddaughter and we're leaving now." Karen's response was, "It's because I'm Asian race." I honestly forget which one she said. Grandma said, "She doesn't work here, we're leaving now." Karen's response was, "BS, I saw her helping you, she works here." Then, Grandma snapped and said, "Listen here you butt-eeping bleep. What makes you think she works here? Is it the black leather jacket, the green tank top, or the jean shorts? How stupid can you bleeping be? Find another employee who is wearing that and I'll buy your bleeping groceries. But if you can't, get the bleep out of here and leave us the bleep alone. Karen went quiet and I thought for a moment that I was gonna have to break up a fight, and I had never heard Grandma use language like that. Just then, an actual employee came into sight and Grandma waved him down and told him that Karen needed help, and then told Karen, "Here's an employee who can help you, now leave us the bleep alone," and we started walking off. Wasn't good enough for Karen, who had to get the last word in. No. I want her to do her job and help me now. Which I thought was going to set Grandma off again, but we continued walking off and heard the employee say, "Ma'am, she doesn't work here, now how may I help you?" That was the last we heard before we were out of earshot and never heard about it again. In the car on the way home, Grandma suddenly turned bright red and told me, "What I said was unladylike and I hope you never use those words or tell anyone I used them." I couldn't help but burst out laughing, telling a very embarrassed Grandma, "Where did you learn such language like that?" She never told me, but I was proud of her for letting it all out. This happened about 5 years ago, so apologies if it's not entirely accurate, but I hope you get the basics of it. Though English is my first language, it was also my worst subject in school, so I'm sorry for any mistakes I may have made. Also, Grandma is still alive and well, and I took my shift with her down to the grocery store last Sunday. She still gets mad if I say sucks, but when she starts to lecture me on it, I remind her of this moment, and I've heard her say much worse. You Didn't See the Baby, by user Swschultz22. Setting the scene, in Target, Australia, with my 3.5-month-old in the pram next to me. I'm wearing a green shirt with Daffy Duck on it that say "Who made you the boss?" leggings and thongs. A lady says "Excuse me," I answer and turn around away from the pram. "Can you tell me where you keep XYZ? Unfortunately I was stunned and sleep deprived, so rather bluntly said "I don't work here" and gestured to the baby. Smiling face with open mouth and tightly closed eyes. The poor lady was embarrassed, apologized and walked away. It made me think of this subreddit. Edit. Apparently I need to clarify the vocabulary. Thongs, flip-flops. Pram, stroller/baby buggy. It's because I'm tall, isn't it? By user Drsparkle. Background: I'm slightly taller than the US average height for a woman. The store I was in during this incident seemed to have a wide range of employee heights. I was wearing shorts, tank top and flip-flops. Definitely not at all like the employee uniform of the store. One day, I was in a big box store, and there was also an older, much shorter woman in the same general area as I. This was before 2020. I find the lotion I want and turn to put it in my cart. The older woman sees the lotion she wants and it is near the lotion I got. She very nicely asks me if I can grab her a lotion, so I grab a lotion for her. She says thanks, and gives me a butterscotch. We go our separate ways. In the next aisle, some guy who is about average height for a man, so taller than me, in the US starts asking me a bunch of questions about items that are not in the aisle we were in. Not politely but not exactly rude. I don't really know the answers, so I tell him I don't work here, I don't know. He says, "But you're so tall." I just stared at him blankly because I was trying to figure out what height had to do with working at a store and something to say other than "WTF, that's the dumbest thing I've heard." He was not satisfied with my non-response, so he said, "You're so tall and you helped that lady." So I told him that I was just being nice helping her, and that if he wants help he should ask the people wearing the vests that say in big letters, "How can I help you?" He huffs off dramatically. Not very interesting, but I thought it was weird. I am a weirdo magnet apparently. I work here, but I don't work here, by user GremlinMac. So this happened 6 to 7 years ago. I was working at a large retail store that sells soap and candles. In my area, there are several stores, but I worked at one specifically. One day, I was at a different location, and I was not working. Out of habit, I was tidying displays while I shopped around. A man came up to me and started asking me questions about what he should buy for his mom. I gave him suggestions and walked around the store with him, helping him pick out scents. This probably lasted 10 to 15 minutes. When he was all set, he asked for my name so I could get credit for this pretty big sale. I just giggled and said, "Oh, I don't work here," and told him to have a nice day. Every once in a while, I think about this and laugh to myself all over again.